Lord have mercy. He retired as a Raider. He went there, then he froze his feet. He caused all this controversy to try to get traded. He badmouthed the coach. He badmouthed the quarterback. He badmouthed the general manager. Never played it down and then got cut. If you just stick to the football field, he's a Steeler legend. That 6-year stretch that he had is literally unmatched. If you had Antonio Brown on your fantasy league team, he led you to fantasy league football victories. Him by himself. Does he deserve to have his number retired? Absolutely not. You can't be bad-mouthing your quarterback like that. He burned every bridge that Pittsburgh has. And there's a whole bunch of bridges in Pittsburgh. But is he still a Steeler legend based on what he did on the field? 100% absolutely.
Welcome to Big B Daily. No frauds allowed.
What is going on, people? What is up? This is your man, Big B. Welcome back to Big B Daily. We are live. Sorry about yesterday. Like I said, we come on Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central every morning. But yesterday, my wife had a little procedure, little eye surgery, so I had to get that done. And I didn't let you guys know the day before, so I apologize, man. I apologize. But we are back. We are back at it again today. So I appreciate everybody being in here. Appreciate you guys being patient with me in our situation. So thank you guys a million. Appreciate you all showing up. Again, as always, man, we're live. If you like the show, want to help support the show, want to participate in what's going on, remember, follow along with the topics. And then if you want to support us, you can. You know how to do that. Super chats, gifts, tips, all that good stuff. But more importantly, likes, follows, subscribe, share the live, all that good stuff. And by the way, on this particular platform that I'm looking at, it's been freezing up on me. If you don't want that to happen, click the link in the bio. There's a live link that will shoot you over to another site where you will not get frozen up on. So I appreciate that, man. Thank you. So let's get into this. So we got to talk about a little stuff today. But let's start off. Look, Willie Mays. I was just talking to my friends on TikTok. I think Willie Mays is the greatest baseball player to ever live. I just do. And again, I'm not old enough to have seen him play. I'm not. So I'm not here saying, but the one thing about statistics in baseball, you can look at statistics in baseball and say, okay, because baseball, the numbers matter in baseball. They do. And you can look at what he did, missing a year and a half because he went to go fight for the country. And based on him being a 5-tool player, all the hits, the home runs, the RBIs, the gold gloves, the all-star games, you roll all that up, and I think Willie Mays is the best baseball player to ever live. That's my personal opinion. There's going to be some other people, like people were saying Babe Ruth. Nope. And you can get mad at me if you want to. I don't really care. Babe Ruth didn't play against all the best players that were available. He just didn't. Now, that's not Babe Ruth's fault. I'm not saying that Babe Ruth had anything to do with it, but he didn't play against all the best players. Willie Mays did. Willie Mays absolutely did. So for me, I think that Willie Mays is the best player of all time. I think he's the best player of all time. That's just my personal opinion. Doesn't mean, and again, I know we live in an era where if you think somebody is great, that means the other person isn't any good. That's not what that means, people. It just means you believe that somebody else is better than somebody else that's great. It's okay to believe that. It's okay to believe that. And it does, because Babe Ruth, Babe Ruth was a great pitcher before he became a great hitter. I mean, I take that back. He was always a great hitter, but he was a great pitcher first. He was a great pitcher first. So for me, I just believe that it's Willie Mays is number one. I think Bonds is second, and I know a lot of people out there are going to say, come on, man, Bonds was on steroids. And he was. There ain't no doubt about that. Full of steroids, but so was 75% of the league was full of steroids too. So it's not like he had an advantage over, he was doing something that nobody else was doing. 75% of the league was taking steroids at the time, people. So everybody's doing it, then everything is equal, if that makes sense. Again, I didn't say everybody was doing it, but 75% of the league was using steroids at the time. So he didn't have this unfair advantage over everybody. That's not the case. So that's not the case. He said Bonds just ate his greens chili. I mean, Bonds was on the roids. It is what it is, but so was everybody else, man. So was everybody else. So, but RIP Willie May. And again, I think the greatest catch that I've ever seen in baseball, and one of the greatest plays that I've ever seen in sports, is that catch that he made over the shoulder, running back in the World Series. Just because of the magnitude of the game, I think it's him. So, RIP Willie Mays. I think we all know he was supposed to go to that game that they're having in Birmingham. I know it's St. Louis. I can't remember the other team that's supposed to play in it. He was supposed to go, put out a statement that he wasn't going to be able to make it. And then 2 days later, he ends up passing away. I think now we know why he wasn't going to be able to make it, because he wasn't in good health. But RIP, man. RIP for good old Willie Mays. The guy, and again, played against everybody. Jim Edmonds' catch was better. No, it wasn't. Jim Edmonds' catch wasn't in the World Series. So if it was, yeah, you could say Jim Edmonds' catch was better. But it wasn't in the World Series. And that matters, by the way. That matters. So the catch was routine? Oh, my God. I mean, now we're saying that the guy's catch was routine. And he just played it wrong. Or did the ball just get hit? Because if you remember, the center field wall was 438 feet. So he had to run a long way to make the catch. So, I mean, people will do anything to downplay a great play. It's amazing to me. That's the world we live in. Now, Willie Mays, one of the greatest catches of all time. Oh, it was routine. He just played it wrong. Golly. Man, is that what we have to do? We have to tear down everything in this world? Jiminy Christmas. It's always something. Man. Oh, my goodness. Oh, well. What are you going to do? You know what I'm saying? What are you going to do? One of the greatest catches of all time. Now we're saying that it was routine. He played it wrong. Okay. Either way, RIP Willie Mays. In my opinion, the greatest baseball player to ever play the game. What do you guys think? Who do you guys think that it is? And again, you're not being disrespectful if you say somebody else. That's not being disrespectful. Okay? But who do you guys believe is the greatest baseball player to ever play baseball? The only thing that will be disrespectful if somebody says Mike Trout. Then I'm going to start saying you're being disrespectful. But Bonds, yeah, man. Somebody says Mays first, Aaron second, Bonds third. I mean, I don't know how you argue that. That's a good list. That's a damn good list. Now, Cal Ripken, see, I'm not even going to consider that disrespectful because you're just kidding. Ken Griffey Jr., minus the injuries, is Ken Griffey Jr. in your top 5? I can't put him there because he got hurt too much. But how good was Ken Griffey Jr.? And see, I'm 48 years old. So Griffey's just a couple years older than me. So I felt like I grew up with Griffey Jr. He was that dude in baseball. He was that guy. So he was that guy. And somebody said in his prime. Oh my goodness. In Ken Griffey Jr.'s prime, he was incredible. And he was a crossover superstar. Like everybody loved Ken Griffey Jr. It wasn't just baseball. Now, baseball was a little bit more popular back in those days, too. I think at the time when Ken Griffey Jr. was playing, baseball was a little bit more popular than basketball until the strike happened. And then once the strike happened, that was it. That was it for baseball. It took a dive and it's never recovered, in my opinion. It has never recovered. They tried to infuse steroids and everybody hitting a ton of home runs, but it never got over the football and basketball realm. It never recovered, and it never will. It never will. So it's hard because Ruth completely changed the game. Babe Ruth absolutely changed baseball. He changed baseball. But because you changed baseball, that doesn't mean you were the best player to play. For instance, Steph Curry changed the NBA. He changed the way basketball is played. I don't think it's right. I don't think that everybody should shoot 63s a game and not use a big man. But he changed it. That happened. But that don't mean Steph Curry's the best player that's ever played basketball. Not even close. Not even in the conversation. Now, Babe Ruth is in the conversation. Let's not kid ourselves. He's in the conversation, and he definitely changed baseball. I just don't think he's the best to play. So, if baseball wanted more home runs, give the players metal bats. I mean, you're not going to get no argument from me. You're not going to get no argument from me. I know they say it's super dangerous. I get it. I get that. However, how many times have we seen a pitcher get hit with a ball now? I mean, how often does that happen? And when it does, isn't it devastating? It is. So when a pitcher gets hit in the head with a baseball, a line drive, isn't it devastating? And that's off, but it doesn't happen like every day. So are we saying it's going to happen every day, every game? I don't know. 200 mile per hour velocity with metal bats. I mean, maybe, there's a possibility. But if you want more home runs and that's what you want, maybe that's a thing to do. That's just me. But anyway, back to the original context, and we're going to move on. R.I.P. Willie Mays, in my opinion, the greatest baseball player of all time. Let's move on, man. So let's recap this NBA Finals. Look, Boston was clearly the better team. They were the better team going in. We all knew they were the better team. They played like the better team. The role players for Dallas completely shrank. Kyrie Irving was rattled in all 3 games in Boston. He played like absolute garbage as a superstar. He played bad. Luka had a horrific game 3. He played okay. His shooting was bad, but sometimes you don't shoot great. But game 3 ended up costing the Mavs any chance of winning this series, and Luka was a gigantic part. There's that meme that's going around. There's that meme that is going around that was talking about Luka's defense in game 3. Do you all know that there were 24 blow-bys on that meme? If anybody's seen that video, 24 in one game where guys are going right around him with no resistance. I mean, there's no excuse for that. There's just no excuse. And that cost him. So as much as we love the Luka and we love the story of the Mavs and them being the 5 seed and doing what they did, the bottom line is they just weren't a good matchup for Boston. That's a terrible matchup for them. Terrible. So I appreciate everybody that was part of rooting on Boston. I love the Boston fans. I don't love Boston, the city, but the fans are okay. They gave it to Kyrie. They rattled his cage. He couldn't deal with it. So we appreciate it. Uh-oh. Hold on. Look at my man, Fantasy Football Girl Advice. I got your link from TikTok and I subscribe. Man, we appreciate you and thank you. I love, again, everybody come on over. Look, it already froze up on me over there. I appreciate you coming over. Thank you very much, man. That is what we are trying to do here. That is what we are trying to do. And also, Willie is the GOAT. He was on fire every game. Yeah, he was. Willie Mays was that guy. He was that guy. So I appreciate that. Somebody came on over from the old tiki-taki and came over to the real side over here at YouTube and decided they wanted to be a part of the show. We appreciate that. But back to the NBA Finals. Yeah, I just believe Boston was just better. They were just better. Jayson Kidd got out coached, which is crazy because Joe Mazzulla, we were like, is he that really of a good coach? Jayson Kidd got out coached. He never made an adjustment when the Celtics came out and put Jayson Tatum on Gabbert and said, okay, any pick and rolls that you put him in, we're going to be able to switch that. And we know Gabbert can't do anything, so it is what it is. He never made an adjustment. He never went small. He decided that he was going to continue that. Even when he put a pick and roll, and he never got out of and put somebody else in the pick and roll. Like when they had Horford and he was guarding, but he was guarding a non-shooter. Well, he never put a shooter in that spot. Well, then it didn't work out. So it's like you couldn't even take advantage of that. I'm like, come on, Jayson Kidd, you got to make some kind of adjustment. Yes, you're going to give up something defensively, but you're not scoring enough points. And if you're not going to score enough points, I don't care what you do defensively. You're not going to win. And they didn't win. I mean, 3 games, they didn't score 100 points. How are you going to win like that? Not in this day and age in the NBA. You're not winning. And he didn't. Bad look for Jayson Kidd. Didn't make the right adjustments when he needed to make it. So we'll see. We'll see. But is Boston going to run off a couple of more? I guess that's a good question for me. Is Boston going to run off 3, 4, 5? You know, is that going to happen? Well, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think they're going to win 3. I don't think they're going to win 5. But can they win next year? Can they win 3 in a row? Because I don't see the team. The only person I think they're going to lose is Horford. Because I think he's going to retire. But other than that, they're not losing anybody. Like their core, they're going to be together. So, I mean, can they? I mean, they were clearly the best team in the NBA this season. I don't think there's any doubt about that. They were the best team. So if that is going to stick together, is there any reason to think that they can't go and do this next year? Now they know how to win. I think that was part of the Celtics' problem before. They didn't necessarily know how. Well, now they know how. Can they go do it again? Are they going to be hungry to go do it again? I crushed Jayson Tatum for his lackadaisical, soft comment talking about, well, if we don't win, it's not the end of the world. We've got other opportunities. Okay. Well, they ended up winning. But is he going to come out and say, yeah, we won it last year. You know, we're just trying to find ourselves. And if we win it this year, great. If we don't, we've already won one. Is that going to be a comment? I mean, you say no, but I mean, he's prone to make the soft comment. He's prone to do it. So we'll see what happens. We'll just see what happens. But I think Jayson Tatum, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. And they got to come out with a different type of mentality because now they're going to be the hunted. They weren't, even though they were the best team, they weren't hunted this year. They weren't out there and teams weren't searching for them. That'll be the case this coming season. Teams will come out looking to attack the Celtics. That's what will happen. So, and if they don't figure that out and understand it, I'm just not sure. You mean they'll lose 40 games if they don't come out with that same aggressive tenor that they came out with this year. Because teams are going to go at them. Teams are absolutely going to go at them. But good for the Boston Celtics. That they've got 18 championships, the most of any franchise. You know, You can't take that away from them. Even though the majority of them were a long time ago, it doesn't matter. 18 is 18. 18 is a lot, people. What has the NBA been around? 16, 17 years? 18 is a ton. 18 is a ton. So for them to be able to get that many, I mean, that means something. That means something. So let's not act like it doesn't. That absolutely means something. So good for them. Good for them. Let me fix this over here. So, yeah, well, the Celtics, they were just better than Dallas. I mean, let me just ask you guys this question. Was there any time that you guys thought that Dallas was going to win this series? Because I didn't think at any time that Dallas was in the series or that they were going to win. I never thought that. I thought they could make some games competitive, but, I mean, the first game wasn't. 2 and 3 were. 4 wasn't because the Celtics just decided they didn't want to win the championship in Dallas and didn't even show up. And then game 5 was a blowout. Basically, the end of the first quarter, the game was close. The end of the first quarter, they get up by 10. They had a bad minute and a half by Dallas. And then at the end of the half, another bad minute and a half by Dallas, and they go up by 20 at the half. Pritchard makes a half-court shot to end the half, up 20, game over. Game was over. So, fantasy football girl advice, I wanted Kyrie Irving to win it, but what's his name needs to step up. Who needs to step up? I'm just trying to figure out. Gotcha. If Irvin would have stepped up, they would have. Yeah, I mean, look, we can love Kyrie, you can hate Kyrie, or you can be in between. But here's the thing that we do know, and this is a fair statement. Kyrie got rattled by the Boston fans. Now, he kind of laughed it off and this and that. He got rattled by the Boston fans. And whatever you believe the Boston fans are or not, that's fine. But Kyrie Irving was rattled. He was rattled. So, he was rattled. He was absolutely rattled. Here's somebody say, in the regular season, you doubted the Celtics. I absolutely doubted the Celtics. I doubted the Celtics up until they won the title. I didn't think they had the mentality to win the title. So I guess maybe you're trying to call it out. Call me out. You don't have to call me out. I didn't think that the Celtics had a championship mentality. Hell, Jayson Tatum, the night before game 5, told us he didn't have a championship mentality. They just happen to be playing a team that their talent and they're just better than. So there was for good reason to doubt the Celtics. Hell, you got the best player on the team talking about, oh, well, if we don't win, it's not the end of the world. You know, we've got other opportunities. What? So that's my old thing. I doubted the Celtics all year long. But that doesn't mean they weren't the best team. But, yeah, make no mistake. I doubted them until the final buzzer went off and they were the actual champions. So that's where my doubt came from. That's where mine came. I just don't have that championship grit mentality. Maybe that'll change now that they've won a title. Maybe that'll change. I think it's going to have to change because, again, like I mentioned before, teams are going to come after them. So teams are going to come after them. So we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. Speaking of controversy, let's move on. The finals MVP went to Jaylen Brown. And I think justified. Now, there's a lot of people out there that are going to say, well, hold on a second. Jayson Tatum led the team in points, assists, rebounds. And he did. How does he not win the MVP? Well, context matters, people. That's why. First of all, let's move on from the points because you saw what Jayson Tatum did in game 5. They're up 25, 26 points, and Jayson Tatum's just taking the ball, shooting every shot, every time down the court. Basically trying to stat pad his way to try to get an NBA Finals MVP. People are smarter than that, okay? People were smarter than that. They understood. When the games were close, games 2 and 3, those games were close. Who stepped up? It was Jaylen Brown. First of all, it's not like Jayson Tatum was averaging 27 points a game and Jaylen Brown was averaging 18. It was 22.3 to 20.8. So not even a 2-point difference. And again, Tatum had that killer game 5 when he scored, what was it? I think he scored 14 points in the last 9 minutes of the game when they were up 25 points. Who cares? Man, that doesn't mean anything. Who cares? But in games 2 and 3, when Jayson Tatum couldn't make a shot to save his life, who was making the shots? It was Jaylen Brown. In game 3, when they had the big lead and Jayson Tatum tried to shoot him out of it, what did he miss? 14 shots in a row? Who was making the clutch shots down the stretch? It was Jaylen Brown. So that's all I'm saying. Jaylen Brown, and we're not even talking about defense at this point. We're just talking about offense. Jaylen Brown made the clutch plays when the clutch plays needed to be made. He did that, not Jayson Tatum. Now you go to defense, and the conversation is over. The conversation is over. You know, he played defense and harassed Luka all game long, all series long. All series long, he harassed him, made him work to dribble up the court, frustrated him, hounded him. And it worked. It absolutely worked. Hell, he frustrated Luka so much in game 3, he fouled himself out. So Jaylen Brown deserved the MVP. I don't know what the controversy is about. People with eyes watched and saw the games. If you watch the games, you know who the MVP of that series was. Now, if all you want to go by is, well, look at the statistics. Okay, fine. But if you actually watched the games, you know that Jaylen Brown was the MVP. There's just no question about that. Now, having said that, again, I know we live in a world where if you say somebody else deserves something, that means the other person played bad. Tatum didn't play bad. He shot bad, but he didn't play bad. I mean, what did he average? Almost 9 assists and 9 rebounds? He didn't play bad at all. Not at all. But somebody just played better. Somebody outplayed him. And that's okay to say. That's okay for that to be the case. It doesn't mean that you're hating or you're a hater. It just means that somebody played better. It's okay for somebody to play better. I don't know why we live in this world and we get stuck in, well, if Tatum's the best player, and make no mistake, Jayson Tatum is the best player on the Celtics. There's no doubt about that. He is. But he didn't play the best in the playoffs. He just didn't. I mean, what do you want me to say? You want me to just make something up? No. If you watch the playoffs, then you know that Jaylen Brown played better in the playoffs. He just did. He just did. Now, people want to try to justify it and, well, Tatum did this and that. Hey, man, no. I'm sorry. Jaylen Brown was better. He was better. When you need your star to step up and do something, Tatum didn't do it and Brown did. End of story. There's no other conversation that needs to be had. So that's why he won the MVP. You know, that's why. Is he the better player? No. But a lot of times the best player doesn't win the MVP. A lot of times they do. Because most of the time, the best player steps up and makes the plays when the plays need to be made. Well, Jayson Tatum didn't do that. Jaylen Brown did that. That's the difference. That would be the difference. So, you know, I don't think there's a big controversy. Not with me. I know a lot of people are trying to make it into this crazy controversy. I don't think it needs to be. I just think people just need to understand what they saw. And what you saw was Jaylen Brown outplayed Jayson Tatum. He outplayed him. I had somebody arguing with me and said, teammates aren't trying to outplay somebody and win an award. I'm like, that could be the dumbest statement I think I've heard in my entire life. What are you talking about? No teammates goes out there and says, I'm trying to outplay him. It just happens. I mean, y'all think I'm lying. I know y'all think that I'm making this up. I can show you the Facebook thread where he literally says to me, that's just some TMZ nonsense talking about somebody outplayed him. Nobody's going out to try to outplay somebody. What? What are you talking about? No, that's not the goal. But it just happens. You're on the same team. Somebody outplays somebody. That happens. Just, oh my God. People, they just get so bent out of shape. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. But, hey, I've said this a million times. Fan is short for fanatic. And when people are fanatical, they will literally say anything. They will say anything to try to be right. They'll make up anything to try to be right. Just anything. And this is another case. And if anybody watched the NBA Finals, nobody with a sound mind is going to tell you that Jaylen Brown did not outplay Jayson Tatum. Nobody's going to say that. Nobody's going to say that. If you watch basketball and you understand what basketball is about, and you watched all the games, nobody is going to say that Tatum outplayed Brown. Nobody's going to say that. But everybody will tell you that Brown outplayed Tatum. So, if you're being honest. So, and there's a good point. Jaylen had the harder assignment on defense. Yes, he did. He had the harder assignment. So, he deserved it. He deserved the MVP. Let's move on, people. Open mic. What do y'all got? What do you guys want to talk about? Bring up the questions. You want to talk about college football, NFL, NBA Finals? Is Willie Mays the greatest baseball player to ever live? Anything you guys want to talk about, now is the time. So, okay. Here we got. Somebody said they gave it to him because he's the highest paid NBA player ever. See, it's comments like that. Y'all know my personal growth. But when people make dumb comments like that, you know I'm going to say it, we can. Lock him up in a padded room and throw away the key. Just lock him up in a padded room and throw away the key. That's what they're going to do to you, sir, if you keep saying stuff like that out in public. They're going to lock you up in a padded room and throw away the key. Stop saying stupid stuff. Stop it. Stop it. There's no reason for it. No reason for it. None whatsoever. They didn't give it to him because he's the highest paid player. Jiminy Christmas. What's this world coming to, people? What is it coming to? Is Willie Mays the greatest baseball player ever? I think he is. So, is Dak worth $50 million in my opinion? No. Well, hold on. Let me backtrack. People are worth what somebody's willing to give you. So, if somebody's paying Dak $50 million, then yeah, he's worth it. Would I give it to him? No. But if somebody's willing to pay you $50 million, then yeah, damn right you're worth it. Daggone right. Are the Steelers going to acquire a number 2 wide receiver? I think so. I mean, first of all, we got an episode tonight of Steelers Almighty coming out on YouTube and anywhere you get your podcast. So if you're not already subscribed on either YouTube, TikTok, or anywhere that you get a podcast, make sure you go subscribe to Steelers Almighty. New episode coming out tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern time. And we're going to talk about that specifically on what's going on with the wide receiver room. Do I think the Steelers need to get somebody? Yeah. But my thing is the Steelers don't spend enough money on offense. So they don't spend enough money on offense. That's my thing. My man, Wakan. Oh, yeah, good point, Wakan. Sad one, but good. And I'll take it even a step further. But first, he says we lose offensive lineman legend Larry Allen. Now Willie Mays. Sad time to be a sports fan. Let's take it a step further. Remember, what was it? 2 weeks ago, we lost Bill Walton, and then a week ago, Jerry West. So, they say it happens in threes. Hell, this time it happened in fours. So it's just been a sad let's call it a month for sports. Gee, and icons in the sport. Now, you may not think that Larry Allen is an icon, but if you follow football, how many linemen were better than Larry Allen? I don't know. I don't know how many linemen were better than Larry Allen. So, and then Jerry West was the damn logo and a clutch player. And again, for all the crazy fans out there that say, oh, if Jerry West played today, he'd be a plumber or he'd be in the G League. Jerry West was the quickest guy in the league when he was playing. Oh, and by the way, black players were playing at the time for people that said no athletes were out there. Yeah, there were. Shut up. He could shoot the ball out to 26 feet without a problem. So he's knocking down three. They didn't even have a three-point line then, and he could do that. Oh, by the way, he also had a 42-inch vertical. So stop the nonsense. Stop the nonsense. Jerry West was that guy. He was absolutely that guy. So he passed away. Bill Walton, while his NBA career was marred with tons of injuries, so he couldn't fully give you what he had, in college he could. And Bill Walton is a top 5 all-time college player. He's better than top 5. He's top 3 of the best college players to ever play basketball. And if you don't believe that, use YouTube and go watch for yourself. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. So, OJ died. It was over a month ago, my man. Somebody saw OJ. OJ died. It was over a month ago, man. I'm just talking about in the last month. So, yeah, Jerry West was Larry Bird before Bird. No, nope, not the same type of player. Nope. Larry Bird wasn't near the athlete that Jerry West was. Not even close. Not even close. You can't compare them just because they're both white. You can't do that. Yeah, Jerry West was head and shoulders, body, everything as far as a better athlete than Larry Bird. They're not the same guy. So, not the same guy. So, God's been drafting a lot of sports guys this year. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean, like I said, icons to the game. Larry Allen, Jerry West, Bill Walton, and now Willie Mays. I mean, and here's the thing. It seemed like it just kept getting greater and greater and greater. I mean, I don't know many reasonable people that don't have Willie Mays in their top 3 of greatest baseball players ever. There's not a reasonable person out there that doesn't have it. So, he doesn't have it. Bird is better than hold on a second. You're not going to get no argument from me saying Bird was better than West. I'm from Indiana too, and Jerry West is my favorite player of all time. Or not Jerry West, Larry Bird is my favorite player of all time. So you saying that you're biased because you're from Indiana, I'm probably biased too. But I think Larry Bird's my favorite, but Larry Bird is in the top 10 basketball players of all time. All time. Jerry West is not in that. Jerry West is not in. Now, top 20? Yeah, I'll throw Jerry West in that. But top 10, Larry Bird's in that. For sure. For sure. Pistol Pete? No. Look, Pistol Pete gets a raw deal because he played on bad teams, but Pistol Pete shot the ball 70 times a game. I mean, you're going to shoot the ball that many times a game, you better score that many points. They talked about, him in college. Now, don't get me wrong. Anytime you average 44 points a game, I don't care what. But on 38 shots, you better get 40. I mean, you're taking 38 shots. Yeah, you need 40. You need to be averaging 40. That's what he was averaging 38 shots a game. That's insane. That is insane. So, good question. What part of Indiana are you from? You're from Goshen. I know where Goshen's all the way up north. Rick Meyer is from Goshen. I'm from Jeffersonville, which is all the way south. All the way south. Matter of fact, if you want to know something, in 1993, Jeffersonville, won the Indiana High School basketball state title. You can look it up on YouTube. There's a guy, number 44, that played on that team. Had a prominent role. So, you know Rick Meyer's family. That's awesome. My brother played in a North-South All-Star game with Rick Meyer. So, Sean Kemp, Concord. Crazy basketball player. So, now, see, here's jealousy talking. Here's jealousy. It's always somebody. I heard that guy, Jeff, had one move. One move and nobody could stop. Kareem had one move. Isn't that the knock on Kareem? Kareem had one move, scored 38,000 points with one move. Huh. So if you only got one move, that's okay. Jealousy, man. It's always something. There's always something. You know, Rick Meyer was good in college. Pro career, not so good. Not so good. But there's a lot of guys you could say that, man. There's a lot of guys. A lot of guys that are good in college, not good. Pros are a different beast, man. Pros are a different animal. Just a different animal. So, does anyone remember John Havlicek? I think people do. I think people remember John Havlicek. Great player. Great player. So, oh, yeah. I didn't even know. I saw this right before the show. Did y'all know Monty Williams got fired? So here's a question. Do you think Monty Williams got a fair shake in Phoenix and Detroit? I mean, here's what I'll say. In Phoenix, I don't think he got a fair shake. In Phoenix, he didn't deserve to be fired. Unless the players just decided they didn't want to play for him anymore, which you know how Kevin Durant can be. Unless that happened, I don't think he got a fair shake in Phoenix. DeAndre Ayton and him didn't get along. They got rid of Ayton, so you should have kept Monty Williams. I don't understand why you didn't. It didn't make sense to me. He was fine. And now look at you. You're on another coach. It's just idiotic. But again, you get those owners that think they know more than what they do, and this is the result. You get rid of Monty Williams, you hire another coach who, Frank Vogel, didn't deserve to be fired either. He's fired. When do you blame the players, man? When can it just be the players' fault and not the coach's fault? Just crazy to me. But no, he didn't get a raw. Now in Detroit, Monty Williams got over. Remember Detroit gave him all that crazy money to come and be the coach. I don't even think Monty Williams wanted to go coach there. But he's like, if you're going to pay me this kind of money, I'm going. If you remember, Monty Williams was the third highest paid coach in the NBA. And Detroit was awful. And now he's fired. He's like, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for firing me. I didn't want to be there. I only took the money. Now I'm going to get the money. And I don't even have to coach. Oh, my God. You just did me a favor. Again, bad ownership. Bad ownership. What are you doing? Why would you hire Monty Williams only to fire him after 1 year when you knew your team was bad? You knew they were bad. So why are you firing him? The first thought is, why did you pay him all that money to come if you're not going to give him an opportunity? Now you got to pay him all this money? Stupidity. So, stupidity. Crazy. Yeah, that's exactly right. Monty got a bag regardless. Who are the Pistons owners who got all this money to just throw away? Because that's what they're doing. They're just throwing the money away. They decided, hey, man, let's go get Monty Williams. He's a hot coach. He got a raw deal in Phoenix. He's going to come here and he's going to fix us. Well, yeah, he might be able to fix the Pistons, but the Pistons need a way better roster. Look at that roster that Monty Williams didn't put together. It's terrible. It's terrible. Give it a little bit. Give him a chance to fix it. You didn't even give him a chance. Nope, he's not right. Got to get him out. We're done. Out. Well, okay. Well, now Monty Williams got to decide if he ever even wants to coach basketball again. He might just say, you know what? I got all this money. I'm done. I don't have to do anything. You know what? You paid me this money for a year. Now you're going to give me all this money to just do nothing? Maybe I'll just do nothing. Maybe I'll go do some TV. Maybe I've decided I don't want to coach anymore, and I'm just done with it. I mean, you can be. He absolutely can be because I think he got $60 million. I mean, he can just say, I'm good. I'm good. Now, maybe pride, maybe ego wants him to come back and say, no, I want to continue this. But if you're Monty Williams, let me ask you this question. I don't even have to ask the Goon Squad. I already know what you guys are going to say. Because if I ask you, would you just take the money and be done? You're going to get $60 million over the next 4 years. Would you just be done? Every one of you are like, yeah, I don't need that added pressure. I'm good. And that's exactly what I would say. I don't need that added stress. I'm good. I'll go do TV. I'll do that. I'm not coaching. I don't need to. There's my man, Ex Capone. There's my guy. Yes, take the money and run. Hey. Matter of fact, don't call me for the next 6 months because I'm going to go see the most beautiful beaches in the Caribbean over the next 6 months. So don't call me because that's where I'm going to be. I'm not leaving, by the way. I'm not leaving. So if you want to come find me, you're more than welcome to come find me. But I'm not leaving the Caribbean for 6 months. I'm going to St. John, Aruba, the Dominican, Turks and Caicos. Yeah, come find me after 6 months. I'll come back. Or better yet, what he should do is wait till the winter and then go. Hey, man, I've been gone all winter. Yeah, I'm going to the Caribbean. I'm not coming back. What do you mean you're not coming back? Yeah, I'm going to the Caribbean. I'm not coming back. I'm leaving in October. I'm coming back in March. That's what I'm doing. So, good for him, man. Good for him. So, go work on that tan. I don't know if Monty needs to necessarily work on his tan, but I like the sentiment. I like the thought. But, man, do you watch any college baseball? I do not. I tried to pay attention because the College World Series is going on right now, but I haven't. I've been busy with other stuff, I'll be honest with you, so I have not watched at all. At all. And it isn't because I think it's bad. I just haven't paid attention. I'll be honest with you. I've just been busy trying to do other stuff. So I have not watched it. I will say when the final series comes around, I will watch that. Yeah, I'll watch that. But no, I haven't watched any of the College World Series as of yet. But we're hitting the dead period, people. The dead period has begun. That period from the end of basketball to the beginning of football. We are here. We're right. It is right now. But my damn New York Mets, Lord have mercy. Have y'all been watching? Have y'all been paying attention? The New York Mets, because there's such bad baseball being played in the National League, are a half game out of the wild card. My New York Mets. I'm back watching baseball, people. I'm back. Y'all know I gave up after the first week because the Mets had lost the first 7 games and we were out of it already. I'm like, I'm done. I'm not doing it to myself. I'm finished. Well, damn it. Those damn New York Mets, we're a half game out. Half game out. We've won 7 in a row. The bats are popping. We're getting some decent pitching. We look like a Major League Baseball team. Lord have mercy. So I'm back excited. Now I know they're going to end up breaking my heart. It's going to happen, but I don't care. Right now, damn it, the Mets are going, and I'm going right along with them. Jump on board, people. Jump on board the Metropolitan bandwagon. Jump on board. We're just getting started. We're just getting started. You know, we're not going to win the division. Don't get me wrong. We're not going to win the division, but we're just getting started. We are just getting started. My man, what do you think of the Clippers bringing in Van Gundy? I think Van Gundy wants to be back in coaching, and this was with his way back in. I think Van Gundy's going to end up being an assistant 1 year, and then he's going to go get a head coaching job somewhere big. And I think Van Gundy's like, I've been out of coaching for so long. I want to get back in. This is my way back in. I got to get used to the players. And he can, because I think Van Gundy could probably get a head coaching job if he wanted one. But I think he's doing it smart by saying, I got to get used to the players. I got to understand how the players are now. Because it's been a minute since he's been a head coach. So I think he's like, let me get back in. Let me ease my way back into this. And then next year, he's going to go get a head coaching job. And it's going to be somewhere big. It's going to be somewhere big. Because if the Lakers were smart, they'd hire Jeff Van Gundy. They should have hired him. Or Mark Jackson. Go hire somebody like that. But they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. They're going to hire J.J. Redick. And the Lakers are going to be irrelevant. And I'm not going to, oh my God, just a nightmare. My man, Hot Soup Fantasy Football. What up? It's almost fantasy football season. Yes, it is. First of all, if you are not following Hot Soup Fantasy Football, you need to make sure that you do. You need to make sure that you go and do that. That's number one. Hot Soup. Last year, we had a ton of fun. A ton of fun, him coming on the Big B Daily Show. I'm thinking he's going to be doing that again this season. We'll see. We'll see if we can get him in. But yeah, absolutely. Go subscribe to Hot Soup Fantasy Football. Just type that in. Go subscribe. We have a ton of fun, ton of videos, stuff that comes out for Hot Soup, man. A lot of good stuff. So, and he'll be in. He will be in, like I said. More than likely, he'll be back in and back on the show, man. We're back on the show. We'll pick a day. Last year, it was on Wednesday. We'll see if that still works for his schedule. But yeah, tons of fun, man. Tons of fun. Gundy going to Phoenix. Nah, I don't think Gundy's going to Phoenix. He's going to be the assistant at the Clippers. So, going to be the assistant at the Clippers. So we'll see what happens, man. All right. We're going to shut this one down for today, people. I appreciate all y'all being here. Again, I appreciate y'all being patient. We didn't have a show yesterday, and I forgot to tell you, like I said, my wife had a little eye surgery that she had to take care of. Nothing serious, nothing too serious. She's all good. Got her patch off this morning, so things are looking better. So, and I didn't tell you guys we weren't going to be here. I apologize for that. So, so I appreciate y'all being patient. And again, always showing up like you guys do and showing out. So thank you guys, man. We appreciate you. Love you guys. We will holler at you tomorrow. Aloha.